Hello folks, this is Art. Welcome to my garage. It is a pretty exciting day for me. I am officially starting my EV conversion project and I want to give you a quick overview of what I will be doing and a little history, how it came about. I have been interested in electric vehicles for many years, and I've been closely following development of technologies behind it and getting excited about EVs finally picking up some traction. So it became pretty apparent that I did not want to get any new gas powered car again. But since I had and have quite a few vehicles that served me pretty well, and I didn't really have an immediate need to replace any of them or get another one. And frankly, back then options were pretty limited. You had a little Nissan Leaf commuter car, and Tesla was just starting with their Model S, which was pretty expensive. And also, being engineer at heart, it was always more fun for me to build things rather than purchase things that aren't ready made for you. I am kind of maybe a weird person, but being a motorcycle and car enthusiast all my life, I always found more pleasure working on the vehicles, fixing them rather than driving or riding. Just can't help it. Um, so a few years ago, my favorite car gave up on me, and I was initially planning to fix it, but soon I realized that it was going to be very expensive and time-consuming repair. So I kept postponing it until the better time came. But around the same time, I started following some really exciting development within DIY EV community involving some open source inverters and reverse engineering efforts on OEM components that could be then reused in DIY project. This was pretty exciting, and I'm frankly extremely impressed with some of the absolutely brilliant individuals from that community. I have a pretty good understanding of the technology behind it, so I can really appreciate the level of effort and expertise those folks have. It's amazing. Uh, Hopefully, in the future, I might be able to contribute a little bit, and maybe this project will help a little bit get some more people excited around this movement. I mean, it's pretty much global movement at this point. There is a lot of conversions going on, and but anyways, once I realized the making conversion of combustion engine powered car into reasonably well performing electric car was not only possible but also affordable if you were prepared to put some serious effort into it and make a lot of things yourself. Pretty much became no brainer that the only way I was going to get my car back on the road was by converting it into electric. So let me show you my favorite car of all times that I will be converting into electric. So here it is, right above me on the left, 1998 Jaguar XJR. Taking opportunity that I have it up in the air, I will show you a little bit what it looks like from underneath. The car is originally equipped in 4-liter V8 supercharged engine rated at 370 horsepower. It may not sound all that too impressive these days. However, this car made 22 years ago, it was something. It in fact was the fastest production car available at that time and for a while after it came out. So anyways, you can see I already started some disassembly process. I removed the exhaust from it to get better view. Here it is on the floor, the exhaust. By the way, it's about 100 pounds of weight in the exhaust parts, so this will compensate a little bit for the new powertrain and battery in particular. Going to the back of the vehicle, so here's some pretty large box, part of the trunk. It was primarily occupied by full-size spare wheel and 12-volt battery, but I got some new ideas for it. I think it's gonna make pretty nice battery box, which by the way, I know that the batteries are gonna have to be distributed between the front and the rear of the car, because I want to keep the car within original specification as much as possible, and including the center of gravity, which I actually marked right here. So anyways, that's what it looks like from underneath. This pretty big engine bay is gonna become empty soon, and it's definitely gonna be a good place to install some batteries as well. So I have defined a couple of requirements and expectations for this project. Number one, car's functionality would not be significantly altered from its original. I want all the safety systems such as ABS and traction control working as they were originally. I want obviously AC working, heating, and I want some usable trunk space, so to keep car useful for regular daily driving purpose. I want to retain all the original controls and gauges from the car. So interesting fact is that this car, being 22 years old, it is already equipped in CAN bus, which hopefully it will help with integration of all the new drivetrain and the new components, although it might be a little bit challenging too, because there's not much information available about specifics of Jaguar's implementation, such as PID codes and things like this. So I may have to do some reverse engineering work on this to get things seamlessly integrated. Also, as far as the car performance, I don't want this to be degraded in any significant way. Keep in mind that this is really high performing car and a heavy vehicle, so it's no small task. I want to maintain as close to original acceleration or better, and a highway speed. Don't really have to go all the way up to 155 miles per hour, which was originally possible with the combustion engine, but I want to maintain reasonable highway speeds. What I don't care so much about is range after the conversion. Honestly, I will be very happy with 100 plus miles in the end when my conversion is completed. At the beginning, at the initial stages, I will be pretty happy with around 40 miles. That would be sufficient for the beginning, and then in the end, with the development of a new higher capacity batteries, I'm sure I will be able to upgrade batteries at some point if I really need it. so that's not an issue here. In order to satisfy all of those requirements, I had to find all the appropriate components, including drivetrain. So at the beginning, I considered a couple of different options. So this being automatic transmission vehicle, it poses some additional challenges. One of the earliest options I considered was just simply bolting the electric motor into the original transmission in the car. But this may seem like a simple idea, and it might work, and in fact people have done it, but it poses some challenges, like for example to be able to maintain the appropriate ATF pressure within the system after combustion engine is removed and the torque converter. So this usually involves installing auxiliary electric pump, and it complicates things, and plus why really keep this old-fashioned, fairly complicated 5-speed transmission in an electric car where you don't really need that many gears at all. What you do need, however, is maintain proper gear ratio between your motor and drive axle. So after removing transmission, the only gearing that is left is this of a rear differential. So, and it is roughly 3 to 1 ratio. So that's not really enough for electric vehicle. Usually the gearing is between 7 to 10, depending on the application. So I knew I would have to find some way to reduce this gearing further. I would need some kind of transfer case between the electric motor or and drive rear differential. So search continue, and I look at some available transfer cases, planetary based transfer cases, but they're pretty nice and very compact and small, but they're all rated for very low RPMs and speed, primarily designed for as a transfer cases for 4x4 vehicles for very low speeds. So this wouldn't work. It would be noisy. It didn't have adequate lubrication and cooling. So I knew this wouldn't really work. So I continued searching, and until I came across Lexus GS 450H transmission, and this was real breakthrough for me. And some of you have seen, I'm sure, this transmission before. I myself posted a couple of videos on YouTube on this, but for those who are not too familiar, let me quickly show you what I'm talking about. So here it is, Lexus GS 450H transmission in my bench setup. A couple of details. So this transmission has a 2-speed electrically controlled gearbox in the end, which will provide further gear ratio reduction for me. It's exactly what I needed. And it has 2 really powerful electric permanent magnet motors built in. And based on the information available, they are rated at like 134 kilowatts and 147 kilowatts. So this gives you a combined power around 281 kilowatts, and that translates roughly into 376 horsepower. So This is actually 6 horsepower more than the original engine would provide. So, and obviously this is just a rating on the paper. That takes much more in order to be able to achieve those numbers in the real world. I mean, you need, first of all, you need appropriate battery that is able to provide this much output for it, and then you need sufficient cooling. But I think in the end I should be able to get pretty close. So this transmission has a very good cooling system built in. Just need to connect to external components and pumps and radiators and things. And has a auxiliary electric oil pump to provide proper lubrication and pressure for transmission to operate reliably. This pump is controlled by external controller, which I have right here. And the motors are gonna be powered by original Lexus GS 450 inverter, which now, thanks to some brilliant work of individuals from DIY EV community, can be now controlled directly by a very simple Arduino based controller that I have here. In my bench setup I'm using old Prius battery, which I charge with Chevy Volt charger. So this was supposed to be a quick overview of my project before I start further disassemble the car and fitting new components, new drivetrain. I apologize for very unprofessional filming. I don't have any special equipment, just using my phone, so I have to switch between those different views, so video is not made in one piece, but hopefully it's not gonna be too bad. I'm sorry if you found it boring. If you have not, then hopefully you will like to follow me along during this project. It will be great. I cannot promise it to be too exciting, but perhaps some of you will find it interesting. I will try to update you as I make some significant progress on the project. It's not gonna be really hands-on kind of tutorial, but I will try to provide as much of information as possible, and I will try to do my best responding to some of your comments or questions that you may have online. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.